Hi everybody, it's Dr. Payne. I know it seems like every time I come on, I'm in my car. That's because I'm almost always on my way to work. I'm on my way to work, right? So while I finish getting ready, I just want to come on and talk to you guys. I had the pleasure of going on. I go on a lot of webinars, and I have the pleasure of sitting in on some groundbreaking information. And I love people who I partner with in wellness and health. So last night, we had a call, and it was a great call. It's a call on our wonderful meal plan, which I use, and that has helped me in my whole journey. Now, it's not the only thing I used, and I'm a proponent of people, especially consulting with your doctor and finding out what's the best fit for you. So I did go to a telehealth company where I partner with my provider, who's amazing, by the way, and I consider her a friend, and we came up with the right system and plan for me. I trust my medicine. And I know I'm a chiropractor. I'm into holistic natural healthcare and medicine, but I also trust my medical providers who are traditional allopathic medicine. I believe two things can coexist: alternative healthcare and allopathic medicine. Call me nuts. I really do believe the two things can exist. And guess what else? I believe that a natural approach to your health, your wellness, your food choices, things like that, definitely is pivotal, and it can also work with traditional medicine. Yeah, they work together. There are people on both sides of the table who believe it's an either or. They are sadly mistaken. I believe they have limited their choices, and for many of their family and friends will be misguided due to wrong advice from people even on the natural side and people even on the only the allopathic medicine side. You guys, it certainly makes me sad to my core. So I pride myself on doing deep research. I love saying I'm well read. I love saying that I pour deep, like I get into the nitty gritties. I'm reading medical reports. I'm reading what's released from the companies, from the pharmacies, from big pharma. And I'm also get my ear to the ground and paying attention to what's going on in the streets. I'm a number of patient groups and advocacy groups. And I got a huge sample size that I have the privy of learning from on both sides of the table. When it comes to your wellness and your natural and your journey to wellness, you guys, today, right now, is the best time it's ever been when it comes to obesity, when it comes to aging, when it comes to preventative medicine. Part 2. Okay, so like I was saying, be careful where you get some information from, because a lot of times, even when it's your family friend or someone you know online, they can have some bias, and you might not be aware of the bias, and it may not be an informed opinion. Okay, so I've seen some instances where it's been alleged that some doctors, medical doctors who do bariatrics, right, which is to some life-saving surgery, people who have to have bariatric surgery, and to the people I know who've had bariatric surgery at the time, it was life-saving. And of course, you get people who will judge you, the community, people who think they know, or they'll say something ridiculous like, "Oh, you're going to gain it all back, and you should have just did it the real way," or whatever uninformed, illogical opinion they have in themselves. Or they'll say something like, "I know somebody who, my uncle, brother, sister, cousin, and he did it and he gained it all back." For every one person that they put up as this is going to be your true, there's tons of people who that wasn't true for. So when people present to you things like it's fact, like, oh, even with, I don't even want to bring up that, shot, that vaccine, right? But people will present to you a 1 scenario, 3 scenarios, 5. Let's say they present 50 scenarios of somebody they think they know. And then science will say, well, we did 5 years of clinical trials. And in those trials, we had thousands of people. And out of the thousands, we had a percent rate of this or percent rate of that. And these are the things that was observed in a systematic, documented way. Now, I'm not saying that Big Pharma don't play games with stats and facts. They do. But to that level, to where that one person at home is telling you, I know somebody who, it's to me, I don't want to be insulting, but it's almost ridiculously insulting to the rigorous process that science goes through. And for somebody who doesn't know anything to say something as it's fact. Right? I heard a girl last night said that people who use Ozempic are using a Band-Aid and they're going to get it back. Mind you, this is a person who lost well over 100 pounds with rigorous exercise and a stringent diet. Stats say that the likelihood of that person regaining weight is great. Great, because you can't keep up vigorous exercise and a strenuous diet for a long time. That's what the stats say. But her friends, people who believe in her, would say, no, she's determined and she's done it and we know she's going to keep it off. I hate when people will maybe damn. Some people will say something to a person who's done something so amazing and plant that seed in their head that any minute now. Is that encouraging? And when they say any minute now, you can gain that back. Are they basing that on fact or their opinion? And if so, if you are thinking, oh, well, statistically speaking, true, you have a high preponderance likelihood. What are you serving? What good are you serving? I want you to remind, like, let's say somebody is on high blood pressure medicine and they exercise and they eat right and they get off the medicine. Yes, that's ideal. But there's a lot of doctors who would still keep them on some low dose or something, right? Because they say that you have a chronic health condition such as high blood pressure, so you need to be on a little something for your blood pressure won't spontaneously go up. Same thing for diabetics. Okay, your blood sugar's good. We're going to monitor. I want you to wear a glucose monitor just to make sure. Maybe the person who's diabetic is like, oh, I don't want a glucose monitor. I'm fine. But yet they're like, yeah, but this is a condition that's chronic and I think you should at least be on the monitor and at least use the test strips. And maybe the person doesn't want to, and that's their decision. But when it comes to weight loss and the way some people feel about GLP medications, they speak things like I know one girl who, and she had that gastric thing and blah, blah, blah. Let's say what they think they know is true and they know that person's whole history and they didn't realize that maybe she had a fiber bomb, as we call it, and she ate something that she shouldn't have, like a whole bag of popcorn, and that's what slowed down her digestion. And it could have happened anyway because she is diabetic and that gastroparesis happens to diabetics. But okay, let's say whatever they think they know. I want them to also take the time to be informed about the good things. Now, I'm not windmilling for Novo Nordisk. I have never been on Ozempic. I am not going to say that it's the best drug out there. There's way better medications out there. It's like people are talking about something that's medically old. The science has advanced since then. But what I don't like is that Ozempic is still a really good medicine. And besides the fact that it's helped people control diabetes more so than ever, and besides that, some proponents of it has helped with a small degree of weight loss or even a large degree, it depends on who you're talking to. That's nothing compared to what it has done for people with brain inflammation. If they have Alzheimer's, right? They've seen it improve some people with Parkinson's symptoms. They've seen it improve kidney failure. Did you hear me? Do you know if somebody has advanced stage kidney failure, what the treatment is? Do you know what the treatment is? Right? Besides dialysis, right? And kidney transplants. So a medicine that helps with that, but yet the uninformed is so pressed about the weight loss part that they're giving bad advice to push a program. So I was saying, some people biasness because they are affiliated with, like, say, Weight Watchers, and they want you to just use Weight Watchers because Weight Watchers is a really good program. And I tried Weight Watchers. It's decent. Some people tried Weight Watchers. It didn't work for them. It works for some people for a certain amount of time. I believe that you can use a program like Weight Watchers and use a GLP. And guess who else believed that? Weight Watchers, because they adopted using a GLP almost a little bit too late, but okay. You can use both of them because you still need both of them. You see, even if you're on a GL1P medication and you're eating less, or your appetite is controlled and you're not having food cravings, but when it's time to eat, you still need to eat healthy. There's no substitute for having the right amount of intake of your protein, complex carbohydrates, the right amount of healthy fats. There is no replacement. And so for those who think those who take a shot are somehow now oblivious and they can just eat junk, there's some who do, but the ones who do and eat junk, they're not going to have the great results. Do you know if you have a diet high in sugar, your skin will hang? Do you know if you have sudden weight loss, no matter what you're using, even if you exercise yourself for hours on end, you could still have loose skin? So the fact that there was a whole thing, Ozempic face, but the people who chronic exercise and then starved themselves and did IF and stuff, they didn't have loose skin, that is not true. It's not true. And so I hate that some people who have a bias, who want you to do a program, are like thinking they have to villainize medications that has helped hundreds of thousands. And I hate that people who are uninformed and who need this medication and need to listen to their doctor, not their doctor who also has his own little weight program and he wants the other thing to fail because he was making thousands of dollars selling his plan, right? I want them to pay attention, go into groups, see the results. And even though there'll be 5 people in the group going, oh my God, and then there'll be 50 going, yes, finally. You guys got to use a lens where you open up your eyes, because I hate for people who need it the most. There's people who need it the most going to dialysis because everyone in my family did. One of my friends just posted that one sister got out of cardiac rehab, the other sister going in for a stroke. She herself have high blood pressure, and people think that's normal. Because, everybody in my family. Y'all, I believe in preventative medicine. I believe in being proactive before we are reactive. So we do things after the stroke, after the blood pressure, afterwards, instead of before. And there's things before, but you're getting bad advice by somebody who's sister, brother, cousin, and you don't. So, you guys, people on GL1P medications still need a healthy eating plan, and they need to exercise. It doesn't absolve you from that. There are some who won't, just like people who are intermittent fasting, and yet they're not making sure they have their protein. They're not making sure that they do strength training. Any of my menopause friends out there, you need to strength train. The spread that's happening, I understand, is hormonally induced. And when you reduce inflammation in your body, you'll have less symptoms, but you will still have symptoms. But you could have less symptoms. Anybody with a particular food plan telling you it absolves you of all your trouble, they are not telling the truth. It can be helpful, and it might slow the rate of progression, but completely wipe it out is not being honest. And I love keto, and I've eaten vegan and all the things, but science says it does not completely wipe it out. And people can choose to be selective whether they want to trust science or not, right? Do you? But let me tell you this. There's studies that have been done. You do need to eat right. You can change your life. And there'll be one person out of 500 that absolutely navigates that narrow thing and can do it. And then people will give advice based off that one person that, everybody can do it. And if that was the truth, then everybody would have. And yet it's not true. There's no medication. There's no program that is a one-size-fit-all. That's why the big pharma is steadily developing more and more and more that is helpful. Now, I don't think they're the good guys, y'all, not all the time. But when they do something that can change lives, that for the first time ever in American history, dialysis clinics are actually seeing a dip. What? For the first time ever, people absolutely can start to do something about diabetes, and yet they got a family member who think they know saying, be careful, be careful, be careful what? That you don't die fast? Because what are you talking about? Do you know statistics? If they let diabetes go unchecked. Okay, y'all, I could talk all day. I just want to say, please ignore the rhetoric. Find out for sure. Consult with a doctor who does obesity medicine, but not necessarily bariatrics, because I'm telling you, I know some people who do bariatric medicine, and they're saying, oh, that medicine is not so good. They're lying. They're lying. Toe to toe. Now, do some people still need bariatric support? Yes, they do. Everything can coexist. It doesn't have to be either or. It doesn't have to be a fight. Chiropractic can exist along with allopathic traditional medicine. Yes, it can. And one doesn't have to beat down the other, even though it happens, right? So I'm sorry. Okay, I gotta go inside. You guys, people are counting on you not to pay attention, to listen to one little tidbit soundbite there, or to come on a call where they say things that are not factually true, and you believe them. And they're counting on you to hear a snippet in the news, not pay attention that they sensationalize that story in order to invoke fear and panic or make you pay attention, but you didn't catch the end where they say, well, doctor said that this is highly unlikely, or that's not true. Or they count on you not paying attention. So I'm begging you, when it comes to your medicine, trust your doctor. Don't even trust me, trust your doctor. Make sure they don't have biasness, and make sure they don't also operate a program that would, give you less hopefully they're smart enough to know that those things don't interfere, that any healthy eating program or fitness program does not interfere with what you can do intrinsically by also using traditional medicine. And this is from a chiropractor. So I hope you're having a super great day, and I'm sorry for the rant. I try not to be in a bad mood and be mean, but I was mad last night. I was mad. Have a good day.